Hi, I'm Garrett Weber, one of the game designers here at Houseplant Games, and today I'll be giving you the rundown on how to play our new game, Shoudo. In Shoudo, you take control of one of 4 powerful clans during the Japanese Sengoku period and fight for control of Japan. The game comes with detailed instructions, 4 clan cards, 40 terrain cards, 6 army pieces, 24 strength tokens, and 2 combat dice. The terrain cards are shuffled and dealt face up into a 5x8 grid. This will be our game board. Factions can be determined through multiple methods, but typically chosen by randomly selecting face-down clan cards. Once each player has selected a faction, they will place their armies on their respective castles: daimyo, heir, and samurai. The goal of the game is to capture your opponent's daimyo castle, which ends the game. Alternatively, all 3 of your opponent's armies can be destroyed for a victory. Uesugi goes first in the turn order, followed by Mori, Tokugawa, and finally Shimazu. There are 3 types of cards. Castles. You have 3 castles, 1 for each of your armies: samurai, heir, and daimyo. These strongholds serve as bases of operation for your armies and can defend themselves in combat even if there is no army stationed on them. Protect your daimyo castle at all costs. A captured castle is flipped over to reveal its captured side. Captured castles are damaged and therefore cannot be reclaimed. Lands. Your 6 lands provide supplies for your armies. If they are burned, your armies will become weakened. Each of your land cards is associated with either the samurai, heir, or daimyo, and some control more land than others. Some lands mark the location of higher ground and provide a terrain bonus in combat, noted by a 0, which is no bonus, 1, or 2. If a land card is burned, it is flipped over to reveal its burned side to mark that it has been burned. Shrine. Control of your clan's shrine is essential for the morale of your armies. If it is captured, every one of your armies is weakened. However, the shrine, unlike lands and castles, can be reclaimed and restored to regain your lost strength. After the board has been set up, each player, in turn order, is allowed to switch the location of their daimyo castle with either of their castles. Whenever a castle switches locations, the corresponding army moves with that castle. On your turn, you have 3 movement points that can be shared between any of your armies, and each army has 1 action. Movements and actions may be taken in any order. Movement rules. When moving, you may not end your movement on a space occupied by another piece of any faction, and cannot move through enemy armies, castles, or neutral castles. However, your armies may pass through friendly armies and friendly castles. You may move onto a castle that has been captured. Neutral castles will still defend themselves if attacked, so be careful. Action rules. Each army can take one of the following actions on each turn. 1. Attack an enemy army or uncaptured castle. 2. Burn an opponent's land or shrine. 3. Unburn a friendly shrine. Castles cannot be burned as an action. Rather, a castle that loses in combat is considered captured and is burned immediately. If the army associated with a castle that has just been captured is still intact, that army is immediately destroyed. For this demonstration, we will pit the Tokugawa against the Shimazu. Since the Tokugawa go before the Shimazu in turn order, I will go first. For my first move, since I am next to the Shimazu shrine, I'll use 1 movement point, my daimyo army's action, to burn it, causing all the units to lose 1 strength. Then, my heir army will move onto and then burn a land in the center associated with the Shimazu daimyo. Using my last movement point, I will then fall back to the heir castle. And now I will be showing you an example of combat. Combat consists of 3 rounds and requires 2 victories to win. To fight, each side rolls a combat die, the d6, and adds their net power to their rolls. Draws can occur. After each round, if one army has not lost yet, the attacker may choose to retreat. This gives control of the combat to the attacker and encourages attacks against stronger forces. However, Retreating requires the use of one movement point to move to an adjacent terrain piece. If the attacking player has no movement points remaining, or if the piece has no valid locations to retreat to, they must fight in all 3 rounds of combat. An army's strength can drop 2, but not below 0. If this happens, they can no longer retreat from combat, which forces players into decisive conflicts during your endgame. During my opponent's turn, they burn a piece of land associated with my heir. This causes my heir to lose 1 strength token. They also move next to my heir castle with their samurai army and use its action to initiate an attack. When a castle has an army on it, the army on that castle must be destroyed before the castle itself can be captured. The Shimazu army has a strength of 2, plus 0 from its terrain bonus, and plus 1 from its clan power, which reads, your armies get an additional plus 1 terrain bonus while they are on Shimazu terrain cards, whether they are burned or unburned. Your castles do not receive this bonus while defending. The strength of my Tokugawa heir army is 3 from its remaining strength tokens, plus 2 from its terrain bonus. In this combat, since the Shimazu have 1 movement point remaining, they still have the option to retreat. For the first round of combat, the Tokugawa will roll a 2 and add their strength of 5 for a total of 7. Then I will roll for the Shimazu. The Shimazu will roll a 5 and add their strength of 3 for a total of 8. The Shimazu win this round of combat and will continue fighting since they have no reason to retreat. For the second round, the Tokugawa will roll a 6 for a total of 11, and the Shimazu will roll a 3 for a total of 6. The Shimazu lose this round. Since the combat is now tied, placing both armies at risk of elimination, the Shimazu must now decide whether to retreat or try to win the risky third round of combat. What would be your decision if you were the Shimazu? And now that you have a basic understanding of Shoudo, it is up to you to determine the best strategies to outmaneuver your opponents. I'm Garrett Weber, and good luck on the battlefield.